Hey, it's Tpok. I am back in Katawa Shoujo, and we left off with this huge black area to read out of. Rin applies for, and thanks to Nomiya pressuring the principal, I'm sure is granted leave for the rest of the term for exceptional extracurricular activities. She has to make up for it during summer vacation, but it seems she doesn't mind. Rin will still be able to eat and sleep at school, of course, she just doesn't have to go to classes. I'm not entirely sure if I envy her or not. It makes me feel anxious somehow. It's the last day of school for Rin. I feel like I should send her off with a word of encouragement, or at least say something. It was sort of due to my influence that she decided to dive headfirst into this after all. My class ends a good 20 minutes early, so I walk down to the lobby and buy a can of juice, then sit down on a bench and wait for Rin to pull out a novel from my bag and search for the place I was at. I do the same thing. I never use bookmarks. Unless it's like because I always lose bookmarks, so I typically either use the book cover if I keep the book cover on it. I also normally take book covers off if they're hardback or whatever. But yeah, I typically remember where I left off. Time stretches comfortably over the warm afternoon while I idly sip my orange juice and read a few chapters of the book. The plot doesn't seem to advance at all, but it's all the same for me. The bell rings to end the school day and students shuffle to club meetings or outside. Nobody notices me sitting on the bench with my nose in the novel. I keep watch for Rin, but I don't see her familiar face or red-tinted hair passing by. I check my watch 20 minutes past the end of class when the lobby has all but emptied of people again. Even Rin should have already managed to get out of class, but I either missed her walking by or she never came downstairs. So I guess she just went straight to the art room. Perhaps she went to the art room for some last minute things instead, or got held back by a strict homeroom teacher. I haven't really waited that long, but having grown tired of it already, I decided to go find her myself. I stuff my book back in the bag and throw the now empty juice can into a trash bin, then climb upstairs. Should have recycled. The hallway is eerily quiet, as there are no art club rooms apart from the art room nearby. I check there first, but not even the teacher is in. Coming back towards the stairwell, I quietly knock on the door of 3-4 and push the door open to peek in. Yellow sunbeams cross the classroom, falling across the floor. The dust and chalk floating slowly in the air make the light almost palpable. The entire room bathes in the gentle light shining through the windows, washing the shadows away. Only one person is inside the classroom. Wow. Rin sits in what I assume is her seat next to the window in the third row. Her head rests against the desk. I wonder if she slept through it all. Apparently not even Emmy had the heart or maybe the capability to wake her up. I close the door quietly. Walking past the neat, even rows of desks, I go over to where she sits. Rin? My mouth is suddenly so dry that the word comes out a tiny whisper. Geez, super zoom in. She doesn't answer, so I set my bag down on the floor next to hers and lean over to look at her face. She's gonna rat you out for watching her sleeping again. Rin's eyes are peacefully closed, the long eyelashes projecting thin shadows onto her cheeks. Her mouth is slightly open, letting me hear the quiet sound of her breathing. Her usually messy hair is even more so today, lying in complete disarray over half her face and her forehead. Her bag is lying at her feet like a forgotten rag doll. A few books and pens have fallen out of it near her seat. The scene makes me smile a little. I touch Rin's head lightly, sweeping a few stray hairs off her ear. Her hair feels warm against my palm. Rin stirs and I retract my hand on reflex, feeling embarrassed for touching her so casually. She looks so vulnerable, like any sleeping person. It's impossible not to feel fondness towards her. I sit on the desk atop whoever is in front of Rin, then draw the window slightly open to get some fresh air in. Hopefully it will wake her up and I won't need to resort to cruder methods. She doesn't wake up, but I didn't really expect her to. Looking at her makes me feel tired as well. To be honest, I wouldn't mind a quick nap either, but I content myself with leaning against the large window. The glass is warm against my ear and cheek, as these windows face west towards the setting afternoon sun. That afternoon light is slowly melting into Rin's auburn hair, softening her outline so that she seems to be fading into her surroundings. The minute twitches of her muscles, her hair swaying in the air current, the even rhythm of her breathing, it all gives a strong impression of a dreaming girl. Like all sleeping people, Rin looks like she is away from this world, in some distant dream country. With her, it doesn't feel so obvious that she would ever come back. She seems so detached from her surroundings even when she's awake. In fact, she has this same kind of air around her when the realization hits my consciousness without warning. Rin sometimes looks like that when she's painting. Her focused expression gives the same feeling of being on the other side of some imaginary gap as looking at her sleeping face does. I feel a pain in my chest. There's no way I can close that gap to be on the same level with her. It hurts, even though I know that it's impossible for any two people to truly understand each other. But Rin, she's almost literally in another world when she's talking about art, thinking about art, or making art. It's a world that I, or anyone else really, can't share with her, just like the world of dreams. Rin still doesn't show any sign of waking up, so I'm faced with the decision to either rouse her myself or wait for her to awaken on her own. I choose the latter. Waiting is something I'm good at. I found that out during my hospitalization, but even the hospital ward was more lively than school after classes are over. The only sounds in this place are the loud ticking of the clock above the door and the distant voices of students down on the grounds. A genuine summer breeze blows inside from the window I cracked open, full of warmth and carrying the scent of light. I look outside to see where it came from, but I'm dazzled almost instantly. The window glass seems to trap all the sunlight within, making it painful to look that way. All I can glimpse through the window are the dark silhouettes of the trees and the wall around the campus against the setting sun's radiance. As I turn back to watch Rin, she stirs again. A single tear runs down from the corner of her eye, slowly making its way across her face before it falls onto the desk. It's tiny, barely a droplet, but it captivates me. Another tear follows the first, and then a third. A feeling of anxiety overcomes me, petrifying me on the spot. It's so strange seeing Rin's face peaceful as she sleeps at the same time as tears stream down her cheeks, wetting the wooden desktop she rests her head on. I don't know what to do, so I do nothing, and just watch the tears roll one by one down her face. I wonder what she's dreaming about. Rin wakes up after one final flinch, or perhaps because of the tears. She sits upright and yawns so excessively that it looks like her jaw might dislocate. Ah. She notices my presence, but her reaction is more like the lack of any reacting at all. It's just an acknowledgement, no startled gasp or anything. Hello. Good morning. She's so groggy that she can't even return my smile that I somehow can't stretch to be entirely honest. Ah. Rin notices her wet cheeks and quickly wipes them on the shoulders of her shirt. It seems she isn't at all surprised or flustered by them. You cried in your sleep. A bad dream? No, it's nothing like that. It's something I've learned to do from other people. It's a funny story. I'll tell you later. On second thought, not really that funny at all. I guess I won't tell you. Did you want something, or did you just come to watch me sleep? Yep, there it is. I wanted to see you after classes. Oh, well, it's after classes now, and I'm seeing you right here. Yeah, I just wanted to say good luck or something. I figured the upcoming weeks are going to be a lot of work for you. Thanks. Rin yawns again and blinks a few times. I feel weird. Didn't really sleep that much last night at all. Butterflies in your stomach? What? No, I mean, yes. I know what that means. Butterflies. Don't really feel so good now. It'll be fine. You're so confident. Someday it will bite you in the ear. I'll look forward to it. I think I have to go. I promised Mrs. Sayonji that I'd go there straight after school, and now it's after school. Is it okay if I come by sometime? I'm guessing you're planning to work long hours, so if you'd prefer to avoid distractions. It's okay. It's not a distraction. Not like Emmy. Don't bring her with you, though. I wouldn't like that this time. I told her to stay away. I see. All right then. Rin stands up and silently walks to the door with me following behind. The school's empty hallways, devoid of the usual crowd of students, feel very lonely. It's only a few hours since school ended. Whoa, how long were you watching your sleep? But the building seems to be all but deserted. Our footsteps are all that intrudes upon the stillness of the hallways. The change is sudden, but it shows how the building is just an empty shell, dead without its students and teachers to liven it up. It's like the school has become a private world for just the two of us, a desolate place filled with silence and chalk dust. I'm going to change. She says this out of the blue while we walk down the stairs from the third floor, and it makes me wonder how she views this challenge that lies ahead of her. That's what people must do sometimes. That's the last thing we say to each other that day, even though there's so much that we could talk about. And even those words drown out the all-encompassing silence, disappearing into the stagnant air as if they were never said. This act is called distance, right? Or distant, because she's even more far away than normal, or something like that. I think that's what it was. The next Monday is marked by a strange emptiness that grips me, caused by the knowledge that I won't be able to see Rin whenever I want anymore. This hollow feeling is a little bit disconcerting, but I make it to the afternoon all the same. My last class is, in a word, terrible. It's not the lesson that's bad. It is, however, boring, and it's so hot in the classroom that I feel like I'm melting. The air conditioning is either broken or turned off, so the windows are open. It makes no difference since the air outside is completely still. Only the chirping of cicadas carries inside. The sweltering heat permeates the room. Students and teachers alike are in an almost delirious state. I just want to stand up and walk out of here without caring what the teacher or anyone else says. I can see that I'm not the only one with these thoughts too. Next to me, Misha is shamelessly holding her skirt up a bit and fanning air with her notebook. Okay. Only Shizune seems to be as cool as always, sitting with her back perfectly straight. Arms folded on her chest, her eyes fixed on the equations scrawled on the blackboard. I keep shooting yearning glances at my watch, but it doesn't help the time go any faster. No, I find that makes it worse. It's funny, I remember how badly I wanted to get out of the hospital and go back to school. Now all I can think of is the upcoming summer vacation and freedom from classes and homework. Perhaps it's human nature to think only of the situation at hand. Finally, the bell rings. Relieved, my classmates and I burst out into the hallway, already crowded by students from our neighboring classes. I spot Emmy's diminutive figure nearby and walk up to her. Hey there. She smiles sweetly, clearly happy to see me. Hisao, what's up? Is your classroom super hot too? Yeah, it is. I thought I was going to melt in there. Nothing else is really happening though. Feeling a bit weird now that Rin's on her great adventure or whatever you want to call it. Emi's face cracks in a wider smile and she jumps up and down enthusiastically. Isn't it great? I'm so happy for her. I bet everyone will like her paintings and she'll sell a lot of them and make piles of money. Yeah, I'm sure it'll work out great. I'm totally sulking at her, though. She huffs angrily and places her hands firmly on her hips, even letting a little anger seep into her voice. It doesn't quite have the impact she's probably hoping for, but I say nothing. Why's that? Why's that? Okay, it didn't work for a second. She said that she doesn't want me to go see her. Oh yeah, she mentioned that. I guess she prefers not to be distracted. I can understand that. I don't think I'm that much of a distraction. Besides, I'm sure she'll forget about sleeping and eating properly if someone's not there telling her to do it. Sometimes she's like that, gets completely fixated on whatever and drops everything else. It really makes me worried, you know? Is she going to be alright? Such friendship. I wonder if she thinks I'm annoying. I'm pretty sure that's not the case at all. Emi shakes her head, looking amused. I'm not sure if she's joking or not. She has these weird ideas about a lot of stuff. Things just make sense to her in a totally different way than they do to me. I can't even remember all the weird stuff she's talked about over all this time. I don't think Rin does either, really. She's the type who would forget her own head if it wasn't attached to her shoulders. That's why I just leave her alone. I can't just leave her alone. Is that weird? She leans against the wall, managing to look distraught, yet still cheerful as always. I get a strange feeling about it, as though I was talking to two people at the same time. How would I know? Everyone's weird in some way, but if that's yours, it's a very nice way. At least I can understand what you're talking about, unlike Rin. Most of the time, I have no idea what's going on inside her head either. Emi giggles, nodding in agreement. I think it's okay, even if you don't understand her. That's how she usually is. Emi stands up straighter, brushing the hem of her skirt and straightening the waistline. She laughs awkwardly. Ahaha, wow, we ended up talking pretty seriously. What's up with you, Hisao? Why'd you bring this up? Oh, sorry, I didn't really mean to get in this sort of discussion either. I don't know. I've had this weird feeling lately about Rin. I don't know why. I feel a bit guilty bringing up something like this for no reason except my own anxiety. It'll be fine, don't worry about it. Suddenly, Emi clutches my wrist and twists it so that she can see what time it is from my watch. Oh damn, this late already? I should really go. There's a meeting with the rest of the track team on the field. It's not going to be fun in this heat. We're gonna sweat like pigs, but I promised I'd be there. Bye-bye. She skips downstairs, leaving me wondering if what I said, or what Rin said rather, hurt her or not. Maybe what Emi herself said hurt her the most, come to that. So in the end, even the person closest to Rin is just as far apart from her as everyone else. I wonder if Rin herself ever feels that distance. I felt like I was drifting away from the world too, during my hospitalization. I felt anxious and depressed, and even now, I still sometimes do. But I fight against it with all I've got. If Rin has been on that side of the divide for her whole life, I can't imagine how she could not be lonely, but perhaps she's truly different. I refuse to belong to that other place, but maybe she's found comfort there. Like Emi, I have a club meeting of my own, so I head straight to the art club room at the end of the hallway. Only a few members are present today, so the mood's even more laid back than usual. Rin's off working on her exhibition projects, but I wonder if the rest are simply just playing hooky, defeated by the heat. I half-assedly sketch something with a piece of graphite, but do a poor job of it. My fingertips are turning pitch black from holding the graphite and smudging it on the paper, accidentally and on purpose. I've improved a little, but Rin's level is still far beyond my reach. Eventually, Nomiya comes in and makes his way around the room, checking on what we're doing and giving comments on the works in progress. He stops behind me and bends closer to look at my poor sketch. tried to take a few pointers from Tezuka, have you? Well, I've looked at how she draws, but I haven't exactly asked for advice, no. Let's see here. He casually picks up the piece of graphite from my hand and lightly draws some faint, barely visible lines over my sketch to illustrate the places that need improvement. Well, we'll get critiqued next time, but thanks for watching.